Hello again, traders, and welcome back to the Hot Stocks Outlook for October 24th, 2025. I hope you all have had an excellent week out there in the financial markets. And as always, we're going to take a look at the most recent VantagePoint AI predictive forecast. So if you haven't already, be sure to go ahead and click the link down in the description below and get yourself signed up for a live demonstration to learn all the specifics about how these predictive indicators and technologies are helping traders navigate the financial markets and really make better trading decisions. And so this is a really nice opportunity. We've seen volatility pick up in the marketplace. Good opportunity to really highlight how all of these predictive tools work together. And so we can start out here with shares of public storage. And like with all of our previous examples and subsequent examples, all of this is based off of end of day data. So each one of these candles that you see there, well, that's going to represent a full and complete trading day. And the first thing we'll cover here is that right up against all that price data, you'll notice that there is a black line and also a blue line value. And so the black line that you're seeing there, that is a simple moving average. So this is a very common technical analysis indicator. The only issue with this indicator is that it always looks back. And in this instance, it'd be a 10-day. So it'd look back at the previous 10 close prices, add them all together, and then divide by that number. And that acts as a good baseline to let us know where market prices have been, but really has no predictive capability there. It really just smooths out what's already occurred in the market. And so what VantagePoint traders are able to do is compare that value to the VantagePoint proprietary predicted moving average. And for this number, which we can think of as a forecast of average prices looking forward on the chart, to generate that number, this is where the technology of artificial neural networks come into play. And they're performing what we would call intermarket analysis. And so what this means is that rather than just looking back at past prices like traditional technical analysis, the neural networks within VantagePoint are using data from other markets that are known to drive future price action, whether that be positive correlations, inverse correlations. What these neural networks and AI are good at doing is looking at these leading and lagging relationships in the data. And so this spans really the global markets, whether that be individual stocks, whether that be ETF groups, which certainly have an influence on particular sectors and grouping of shares. But this really goes all the way down the line, down to things like global currencies, interest rates, and even particular commodities where applicable. So obviously gold mining stocks, oil stocks, these are all driven by those fundamental movements in the raw commodities themselves. And so it really takes this global approach, really weighing dozens of market relationships and then using that to generate highly accurate predictions. So all of these VantagePoint indicators have a very high level of accuracy associated with their output. And of course, the company here is fine-tuning this, right? Really, asking that question of what are we trying to do here, and fine-tuning the neural networks to get the best output possible. And so whenever we see this blue line cross above the black line, well, that's suggesting that these average prices should start moving higher, and traders may want to look to take a long position. Also, the distance and separation between that predicted moving average and the actual moving average is often a good sign of how strong a particular trend might be. And so as we look here, as far as that blue line moving above the black line going into just yesterday's close, here in public storage, and a lot of storage companies generally have performed quite well over the past few weeks. So you've got a 6-7% move here over the past 19 trading days. But this is really where things get exciting depending on what your trading strategy and approach and time frame really is that this is really a holistic forecast where it's not just looking at the overall trend direction, but we also have this bar at the bottom of the screen, which you see can go from green to red, back to green. And this indicator has an extremely high level of accuracy, upwards of 80+% on an extremely wide range of markets. So essentially 4 out of 5 times, this indicator will be good at anticipating whether prices will be higher or lower over the next 48-hour period. And we see how this works is as this trend moves to the upside, that neural index gets bullish. And we get a lot of momentum in the market until recently here, where you see that neural index goes bearish, and subsequently 48 hours later, prices are trading at some lower levels. Additionally, we've gone from the predicted moving average, the overall trend, the neural index over 48 hours, and then we really land on the intraday predicted high and low. So this is a indicator utilizing that predictive data, looking at those intermarket relationships, but looking ahead just at tomorrow's price levels as far as a prediction of the high and the low. And of course, as Friday trades here, we'll get the actual market data filling in, and we can see how accurate all of those predictions are. And so what we can do here is look back at these previous forecasts and say, okay, well, how accurate have all of these VantagePoint predictions been? And you really see how this works, getting very close to the predicted low here, moving down towards the predicted low, predicted low. You even see how the market tends to respond from those predicted highs and then trades lower from that point. But this is where traders can really utilize this information to make better trading decisions and navigate the markets more effectively here. So you see about 3 or 4 entries very early on here. And again, guiding you every single day moving forward. And you see even here getting a pretty aggressive slant lower here as far as that predicted trading range. And then of course, earnings coming up here in the near future. So very interesting opportunity. Again, we see a lot of these storage stocks performing well. And this is where the software is very effective, is really identifying when these sectors start to move and hone in on some of these opportunities. Here's QGEN. QGEN, here's a good example again of how all of these tools work together. Their neural index, or a predicted moving average moving above the actual moving average. Neural index very bullish, but then you see we get moving down to a red configuration, and you run into this sideways price action with these subsequent 48-hour periods where that neural index goes bearish. Once you get bullish again, we see that momentum pick up in the market, another sort of a day here where we run sideways. But overall, clearly a market that's in a uptrend, and you'd only want to be going long, take profit on long positions. See another about 6-7% move just over the past few weeks. And of course, those predicted highs and lows can really help you refine a lot of this. So understanding that, look, you might want to be buying down at these predicted levels. You see a couple days ago moving down to the predicted low, and then moving up to that actual predicted high from that trading day as well there. So very interesting stuff here. And again, just good example of how all the tools work together. So if your trading strategy is shorter term, well, maybe you want to rely on that neural index and predicted high and low. If you're looking for these position and swing trades, this is where the predicted moving averages can be very effective here. Here in Ciena Corporation, this is a stock that really in April, coming off of the lows, has continued to perform well. And so whenever we see this forecast get bullish, it's a good time to get involved in the market. We see you have earnings here in the market really responding well. And what's really effective about VantagePoint is even when you have these, huge, what I'd call a volatility catalyst, right? It really drives volatility in the market. We get that big gap. Well, VantagePoint adapts to those market conditions and understand, hey, there's been a big move here. Let's look at those intermarket relationships and then generate all of these predictions moving forward from that point in time. And so even when we see a lot of volatility, the software often does a good job of really adapting here, getting back on track and saying, okay, well, where are these levels where we might want to accumulate a position? On days like this, if you're waiting down at the predicted low, right, you just get filled actually at the open, and you see the market pretty much trading straight up from that point. And a lot of these opportunities where we keep trading higher. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at this overall position, now this has lasted over a very long period of time. So as you get into these really long sustained trends, volatility and sort of the daily ranges tend to pick up quite a bit. But of course, we want to identify those early entry points. You see this market up about 85% now, just over the past 41 trading days, with a very solid forecast, right? That blue line remaining above the black line, letting us know the overall trend is still to the bullish side. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we looked at Lucid Group, and again, just another example of how these tools adapt. And so as we see this blue line crossing above the black line, neural index bullish here, really highlighted some opportunities to get a position on. And you see how this works, and you get really familiar with this as you utilize the software. But often on these days where you just take up the sort of northern half of the range here, these subsequent predicted low levels aren't hit. And you see what happens is the market moves right down to that level and then continues on with its uptrend here. And so there's numerous opportunities where we had this bullish momentum into the market. We get that sustained price movement higher, but then you see this very strong move lower as a predicted high and low range, neural index before that trading day getting bearish. And really all of that reverses. So the trend moves into a downtrend, and you see how these predicted highs and lows now work on the bullish side or the bearish side, right? Moving up towards the predicted high, but then selling off. And even just this past week, moving up to those predicted highs, and you're already down about 8.5% here just over the past few trading days. And clearly this market now in a downtrend, right? So if you want to benefit off the VantagePoint forecast, well, clearly it's in short, take profits on shorts. Where previously, down at 19 was a good opportunity to get long going into the beginning of September, but you want to be able to adapt to those changing market conditions. A lot of the banking stocks have been performing poorly. We looked at Regions Bank the other day. JP Morgan, a lot of the big banks are also performing poorly. Here we see with Goldman Sachs stocks very clearly blue line crossing below the black line. Again, one of these instances where the neural index gets bullish within a downtrend. And so what do you get? Well, strength over the couple of trading days, but the overall trend still very much bearish here. And so what we can do is take a look at these predicted highs and lows and see how this works. That even after this trading day, it's saying, all right, look for the market to trade up towards the upper part of these predicted ranges, but overall still in a downtrend where you'd want to short, take profits on short positions. And you see pretty much within 48 hours, you have that market moving down in the direction of the overall trend here. So we'll see if we get some reversals in some of these financial stocks, but currently not a great place to be positioned. See the market's down about 6%, and just a lot of stocks, coming off of their highs, really representing to just be cautious here, right? So a lot of stocks that have performed well, going into some of these downtrends and an opportunity to sort of get out of the way, reassess the scenario and find some new bullish opportunities as we see these predicted moving averages, get bullish once again. Here's Warby Parker, another example of blue line crossing below the black line. A lot of separation here as far as the predicted moving average and the actual. And we see how this market just slips into a downtrend and continues moving lower. So very early on, moving up to the predicted high, was immediately selling off. Then you get these days where you scoot up towards that predicted high, but clearly a place to be a seller, not a buyer or accumulator of shares here. And so overall, we can see from this initial predicted high being hit, market currently down about 21% here, just over the past 19 trading days. So this is certainly the type of stuff, you want to avoid. If you are trading in some of these stocks, recognizing that, hey, the conditions have shifted here. We're seeing these predictive forecasts start to get bearish. Make sure you're not, on the wrong side of markets when they decline about 21% or so over a short period of time. So we'll go ahead and leave it there for today. But once again, this has been the Hot Stocks Outlook for October 24th, 2025. Thank you all for watching. Best of luck out there, and bye for now.